श्रीकांतो मातलो सजन्नी सर्वमंगलाजनकाः शंकरो महादेवः त्वं वन्दे गजाननं विमलपट्टिकमलकुटिपुस्तकरुद्राक्षसहस्रस्तपटि कामाक्षी पक्ष्मलाक्षी कल्तविपञ्ची विभासि वैरिञ्ची मनोजोगं मारुतुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानृतिमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। शिवशक्त्या युक्तो यदि भवति शक्तप्रभवितुं न चेदेवं देवो न खलु कुशलः स्पन्दितुं यतस्त्वाम् आराध्यां हरिहरविरिञ्चादिभिरपि प्रणन्तुं स्तोतुं वा कदमकृतपुण्यः प्रभवति। गुरुवे सर्वलोकानां विषये भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। न गुरोरधिकं न गुरोरधिकं न गुरोरधिकं। जय जय शंकर हर हर शंकर। So Soundarya Lahari is one of the most powerful weapons that has been given to us by Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya. Soundarya Lahari is the sound form of mother. Every time we chant mantra, the mantra becomes the rope that pulls the divine towards the devotee. Hara Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya. Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, all these mantras, Mananat Trayet iti mantraha, the one which we try to hold on to, therefore it tries to hold on to us. Okay, when you try to hold on to a baby, see how the baby holds onto you tightly when it is either happy, the baby is happy, the baby is scared, or the baby wants to hug you. You hug the baby gently, the baby, he or she hugs you with a lot of love and affection, unconditional love, right? Similarly, a mantra, when you are trying to chant a mantra, the mantra starts holding you. Okay, what is you? The manas. So whatever you're doing, the mantra continues to be repeated. In Kali Yuga, every nama also becomes mantra. Whatever you are chanting is a mantra. Now, the Soundarya Lahari is essentially wherever Soundarya Lahari is chanted, there mother's sonic form is represented. So if we are chanting some Soundarya Lahari shlokas, we are talking about the sound form of mother. When I say Rama, 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 if you know Rama's picture, you will basically be able to visualize Rama's form. Otherwise, when I keep saying Rama, 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 or like Valmiki said, Mara, 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 okay, he did not know a form, but he kept saying what Narada Maharshi repeated as Rama. Valmiki heard it as Mara, but he kept saying with devotion, Mara, 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 Mara. Okay? But the name still continued to transform. Why? Because of the bijaksharas that are there. Ra is the Agni Bijam. So Ra continues to burn all the karmas, all the papas that we have done. Ma is the Amrita Bijam. Only you see a lot of farmers, they have to burn their farm fields in order to start new farming again. Similarly, we have to burn down our karmas in order to reach the fertile ground, in order to start getting access to the fertile soil in which we can sow the seeds, which are the bija aksharas. Okay. Now, Soundarya Lahari, the 100 shlokas, when you chant, they form the body of mother from her toes all the way to the hair. So when we are chanting 1 or 2 shlokas, they are forming the different parts of the body. Today, the 5 or 6 shlokas that we will try to briefly touch and go, but we'll understand the depth in those, talks about the organs of mother's body from the navel, which is the birthplace of you and I. Where is mother's navel? In Kamakshi at Kanchi. Okay, Nabisthanam of Sati Devi has fallen there in Kamakshi, in the Kanchipuram, which is where we pray to the navel. So the story of Paramashiva, when he was in deep meditation after Sati Devi, when Sati Devi went to Daksha's yagna, which was being done with Nirishvara Yagam. Nirishvara Yagam means any homa needs to be prayed to using Shiva mantras, but Daksha, being very arrogant and considering his son-in-law to be just a son-in-law but not as a god, did a Nirishvara Yagam without inviting Ishvara. Without inviting Ishvara, no yagna will be complete. And Sati Devi, whose husband is Ishvara, Sati Devi's father is Daksha, felt insulted, and therefore she did not jump into that yagna kunda. That yagna kunda is a fire in her, and therefore sacrificed herself. Then Shiva went into deep meditation. Without Shakti, Shakti cannot be separated out of Shiva, but she was latent inside, like Shiva Shaktya Yukto. Shiva is always with Shakti, Shakti is always with Shiva. Similarly, when we talk about in Dasamahavidyas, there's a form called Dhumavati Devi. People think Dhumavati is a widow. That is a mistake. Shakti can never exist without Shiva. Shiva can never exist without Shakti. Right? Dhumavati Devi, there is a story that we'll discuss. Once she swallows Shiva. Like Shiva existed alone without Shakti, Shakti existed with Shiva being internal to her. That is Dhumavati Devi, the form that has come from the smoke of Sati Devi's body. Therefore, she is called Dhumavati. Okay, very powerful. She removes all our karmas. Therefore, she is also called Jesta Devi in some. People think by praying to Dhumavati Devi, she will give all bad luck and others. No. If she will give bad luck, why will she be positioned in Dasamahavidyas? They are not Vidyas, they are Mahavidyas. Okay, which means each of them can give us moksha. We'll talk about Dhumavati and others when we get to those, but since she is connected to Sati Devi, I am touching it and going over. Now, when we talk about these 6 shlokas, we are talking about this episode where Shiva was sitting in deep meditation and Manmada, who is Manmada? Manmada is the son of Vishnu Murti and Lakshmi Devi. Okay, and therefore he is as beautiful as Vishnu Murti. Why is this story important? Daksha means capabilities. Once we have a certification, qualification, degree, a skill, naturally we will get arrogance and ego, saying, oh, now I am very capable. Nobody else can do this work other than me. That is Daksha. Okay? When you are full of capability and skill, and if you are not grateful to the divine, like Daksha was doing a Nirishvara Yagam, right? What happens is you continue to think you are a superstar because of your efforts and your skills, but you don't give your gratitude to the divine who is functioning in you. The moment that happens, that is the beginning of our end, just like Daksha. So we will continue to do everything and will not be grateful to the divine. If you slept and woke back up this morning, who woke you up? If you are eating your food and it is getting digested without any complaints, who is digesting it? When the water in the body is reducing, who is informing you that please drink water? Every time you speak, who is balancing the tongue not to fall in between the teeth, and therefore you are not biting your own tongue? Every time the eyes are about to get dried up, who is making you blink without your knowledge to ensure the eyes are not getting dried up? So that is the divine that is making you do all these things without your knowledge, does not expect a thank you back. So what is prayer? Prayer is a form of our gratitude that I have taken many births. But in this birth, number one, you allowed me to be born in the prayer room of the world, the Bharata Veda Bhumi. And then I am born in Sanatana Dharma, the Dharma which does not have a date, the Dharma that says respect every religion, every faith. The dharma that gives me ability to pray to a Vishnu, a Shiva, a Brahma, a Devi, a Krishna, a Rama. Just like I have a family of an uncle, auntie, grandfather, grandmother, mother, father, brother, sister. You have given me a Vasudaika Kutumbam. I can pray to whomever I want. But to realize that if I have to pray to that Parashakti, means I have entered my last 5 janmas, Lalita Paravattarika. If I'm able to pray to Mother Goddess Lalita Devi, that means I have entered my last 5 janmas, reaching to moksha. Therefore, who is holding my hand invisibly to me and taking me ahead on the path of spirituality? So, to that Paramatma, I'm expressing my namaskaram. That is what a prayer means. Okay. Now, when Manmada came and shot the arrows at Shiva. What does it mean? When Daksha was arrogant with the skills and continued to perform an Nirishwara Yagnam, doing his work without really being grateful to the divine, then the Shakti goes away. Once the Shakti goes away, you cannot say a Ramanamam, you cannot say a Krishnamam. No? Then the person becomes Shakti Vihina. Like you see people who get paralysis. What happens to them? They cannot pronounce names properly. They cannot walk properly. Okay, their energy in their body is going through an imbalance. That's exactly what happened to Daksha when Sati Devi, born as his daughter, offered herself to the Yoga Agni from her body. Then she is no more called Dakshayani. Okay, there's no person called Dakshayani existing anymore with body. Therefore, she ended herself as a Dakshayani because she realized here is a person who is ungrateful for everything he has and continues to become arrogant and egoistic. And then Shiva took her body and roamed around the cosmos, and Vishnu used the Sudarshana Chakra given by Shiva to Vishnu to chop the mother's body, and the different parts of the body of mother fell in different places across the world. In USA, in California, there's a mountain called Shasta, Mount Shasta. In Mount Shasta, mother's hair, some of the hair fell. Even till today in California, there are people who pray. Agastya Maharshi visits Mount Shasta. When you go there, you will see a lot of people are sitting and meditating to the Indian gods, people of foreign origin. Who taught them? What is Himalayas to us is Mount Shasta in the Americas. Okay? So every place on the earth, some part of mother fell, but majority of the parts fell in India. And there's one part that also fell in Sri Lanka because Ravanasura was a great devotee. His eyes were closed with lust. He prayed to mother, but he did not see mother in divine mother Sita. That was the beginning of his end. Now, in this shlokas, from the 70, I got the book here. I'm gonna 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78. Right? These 6 shlokas talk about mother's breast and mother's navel. Okay. And this basically talks about one of the Lalita Sahasranama's name that is connected as well. Okay, so we will basically, let me read through some of the shlokas and then come back and connect back with the story that we are discussing. Let me land the story at a logical thing so we can continue. Now, when Manmada came and shot the arrows at Shiva, what does it mean? When Shakti is taken out, Shiva went back inward. He became Dakshinamurti, sitting in silence. Guruve Sarvalokanam, Beshajaya Bhavaroginam, Nidaya Sarvidyanam, Sree Dakshinamurtiye Namaha. He sat in silence, watching the Dakshina Dikku, south direction. What does it mean? On the south is the graveyard. The Smasanam is always on the south. Everything that is born has to die. Everything that is manufactured has to expire. So he sits eternally beyond time, watching everything being consumed by time, which is another form of Mahashiva or as Mahakala. as Dakshinamurti. Now, the cosmos was missing the maternal instincts because Jagato Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwara. They are the first pair, the first couple, therefore the parents of the whole cosmos. They are the Mata and Pita of the Jagat, the whole cosmos. The maternal instincts were missing in the cosmos. People did not, the rishis, the devas did not have a direct form of mother where they could go and approach. And Shiva was no longer accessible because he sat as Parama Yogi and became inward. Now, when this happened, and Tarakasura naturally asked when he saw, I will only die when a son is born to Shiva, knowing very well Shiva does not have a wife externally available now. And this was the time where Indra, the king of gods, asked Manmada, who is one of his employees, because he's the king of gods, to go shoot his arrows at Shiva. Why to shoot arrows? By this time, Mother Goddess was born as Parvati Devi to Menaka Devi and Himalaya Parvatas, right? Himavan. And was serving the yogi Shiva no matter where she is born. She is born as a Meenakshi, she will get married to Shiva. She is born as a Kamakshi, she'll get married to Shiva. She is born as a Sati Devi, she'll get married to Shiva. She's born as a Parvati, she'll get married to Shiva. No matter what avataram she is born in as Durga Devi, Kali Devi, she'll be married to Shiva. Okay? She will take different forms to show that mother is the kinetic energy, she is the Shakti, but father is the potential energy. He is the axis on which she rotates, right? If a wheel needs to rotate, the axis needs to be constant on top of which the wheel can rotate. So Shiva is the axis, Shakti is the wheel that continues to rotate. Therefore, she is called Kali, the keeper of time. Time flows. Okay. And when the arrows were shot by Manmada, Shiva felt a slight disturbance in his mind. Immediately, he looked with his, he didn't open his eyes. People say he opened his third eye. What does opening third eye mean? Third eye means looking to the jnana. What is causing this disturbance for me? Why suddenly this disturbance? And because he is using his knowledge, he could put an end to the distraction being caused. So when he opened third eye, the fire coming through, it's not literally the fire coming and burning Manmada. It is Manmada is the god of desires. So when Shiva saw that desires are being born in him in a very silent mind, he realized that I have to use my jnanam, na iti, not this one, move on. And therefore he used jnanam to get rid of Manmada. Now, when Shiva burnt Manmada down, Rati Devi, a great devotee of Mother Divine Sarvamangala, went to Sarvamangala Devi, which is the another form of Parvati Devi or Lalita Devi, prayed to her saying, Mother, I have been praying to you all through my life. Today, my husband has been burned down and I am about to become a widow. Can you not please bless me? And Mother blessed her, saying, starting today, your husband will be invisible to the world. He will become Ananga. Ananga means the one whose angas, organs are no longer visible. And he will only be visible to you and he will be very powerful because I am taking his weapons of 5 arrows that he shot at Paramashiva and the floral bow that he used. What is the string? Honeybees are the string. Such a weak bow. Flowers are arranged as the bow, string is arranged by the honeybees. And he's shooting flowers, but all the world starts moving when Manmada's arrows are shot at them. They move with bodily desires, they move with materialistic desires, they move with desires of comparison, they move with desires of anxiety, they move with desires of unhappiness. All of this happens, which is very, very difficult to control. But the moment you pray to Lalita Parabhatarika, even Manmada's arrows will not work on you and I because she has taken those 5 arrows. So Manmada's arrows will be taken by Mother and she will start shooting at us. What happens when she starts shooting at us? You will get anger on yourself. Why am I not praying to Mother using Lalita Sahasranamam? I'm born in this Veda Bhumi Bharata. I have access to Lalita Sahasranamam. She ensured that I got to know there is something called Lalita Sahasranamam. Why am I not making good use of my time? So you will get angry on how you're spending time. When you will compare, why am I not able to do Soundarya Lahari like the other person? Why am I not able to do Ananda Kriya? So you will use comparison for your betterment. Okay, you will have greed to learn more. Why can't I learn a Trisati Stotram? Why can't I learn a Kadgamala Stotram? Why am I not able to do a Navavarna Puja of Sree Chakram? How do I go, from the outermost layer to the innermost layer? What is the path, Mother? How can you take me? So as you start doing these, okay, for example, I started Lata Sahasranamam in 2008 when my son was born in the Parama Pavitra Bhumi of Arunachalam. Okay, 2008 May. This is 2025 October. Okay. Now Mother has allowed me to do the Navavarna Puja. What is Navavarna Puja? Navavarna Puja means the 9 layers of the 9 layers of Sri Chakram, Mahameru, in which 183 different gods and goddesses are sitting who are serving the Lalita Parabhattarika. If you read Lalita Sahasranamam, there are 183 names of Mother. When you do Kadgamala, you actually go talk about these 183 Devis who are constantly serving Mother in Manidvipam. Okay, why is it called Manidvipam? What does a money mean? Money means, the best example of money is sun god, that which has a light using which it can self-illuminate and spread the light. So we are talking about just one sun god who is spreading light to us. And how does sun god get power? One ray of light comes from Mother's right ear ring, falls on sun, and that is how bright sun becomes with one ray. Now here are the other gods and goddesses that are serving Mother. Okay, they are all praying to Mother, therefore they become so self-radiant. And the island in which they reside is called Manidvipam. Which is the island? Your body is the island. My body is the island. Okay. What are the monies in our body? You are able to look through your eye. You are able to hear through your ear. You are able to speak and the tongue continues to salivate. Without your knowledge, you are able to breathe. When you do a Kadgamala Stotram, you will see Om Namo Hudaya Devi, Shiro Devi, Shika Devi, Kavacha Devi. Our body is the one we are going inward. And all the chakras in the Navavarnas are very much within our body. Okay, we will talk about it, but Sarva Rogara Chakra Swamini Namaha. Where is the Sarva Rogara Chakra Swamini? The Bindu in the center is surrounded by a triangle, which is the Mother's triangle. Around the triangle, the 8 Vagdevis who have given us Lalita Sahasranamam reside. Who are they? Vasini Devi, please note them down. Teach this to everyone at home, kids, you, people who chant these names, get rid of their astrological effects. 2, their Vak Suddhi increases. These are the 8 Vak Devatas that have given Lalita Sahasranamam. They are constantly surrounding Mother, 8 of them, on different directions. When Mother opened her eyes, okay, Mother never closes her eyes, right? But when she is in deep meditation, for us, therefore, you never see a picture with Mother's eyes closed. Unmesha Mishotpanna Vepanna Bonavadihi. But her eyes are half closed because she is also meditating on that Paramashiva, not fully closed. When Vishnu, Brahma, and Rudra have come through, just like every country has a president and prime minister, our universe, our cosmos has a Brahma, a Vishnu, a Shiva. There are many cosmos. Every cosmos has a Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. All of them went to Manidvipa and prayed. When they go there, no person can exist as a male. Brahma became Brahmi. Maheshwara became Maheshwari. Vishnu became Vaishnavi. Okay? And they prayed, Mother, can you give us a mantra or a stotra using which the cosmos can continue to stay happy? People who chant that can continue to stay happy. So she listened to that and she opened her eyes fully, looking at the Vasinyadi Vagdevatas. The first Vagdevatas name is Vasini Devi. And therefore they are called Vasini Adis, the one who is starting with Vasini Devi. Vagdevatas, who are they? Vasini Devi, Kameshwari Devi, Modini Devi, going anti-clockwise. Okay, they are standing. Vasini Devi is standing right in front of Mother with folded hands. Kameshwari Devi, little to the left. Vasini, Kameshwari, Modini, Vimale, right at the back of Mother, looking at her hair and jada, Aruni Devi. Okay, to the right hand at the back, right shoulder's back of Mother is Jaini Devi. Right at the right hand at 90 degrees of Mother, from her face to the right ear is Sarveshwari Devi. To Mother's right knee standing towards the right eye in the front is Kaudini Devi. Basini, Kameshwari, Modini, Vimale, Aruni, Jaini, Sarveshwari, Kaudini. These are the 8 names. Please note them down. Chant every day, teach it to kids and have them chant. This improves their Vak Siddhi, their Vak power. They will speak only good things. You have to chant this. When you chant the Vasinyadi Vagdevatas, they are in a chakra called Sarva Rogahara Chakra Swamini. All rogas, what rogas? Kidney roga, diabetes, BP, these are all to do with the body. But the bigger roga is Bhavarogam. Bhavarogam means the rogas that people are suffering in samsara. They don't realize that they have gotten a very powerful human life after many, many, many hundreds of crores of janmas. Maybe in one janma, all of our life has started from the form of a stone. That is the reason we go to temples. Where is Tirupati? On top of 7 hills. Where is Durga Devi in Vijayawada? On top of Indrakilantri. To express a gratitude. My life started as a stone, but today I'm able to walk up to your temple and come, oh Mother, this is purely because of your blessing. So all our janmas have started as a stone. Then we were an ant, we were a fish, we were a horse, we were a donkey, we were a cow. Then we became a human. This is the reason in Dasa Mahavidyas, in Bhuvaneshwari Devi, the 4th Mahavidya, we feed as part of the Dasa Mahavidya Kramam, as doing the sadhana for Bhuvaneshwari Devi. One of the sadhanas, most important sadhana that needs to be done for 40 days is feeding the fish. You feed the fish for 40 days because fish is the first form of Vishnu, Matsya Avatara. Fish is the first form of life that entered, right? So that's how. And when we go to Raja Matangi, the minister Matangi Devi, one of the Dasmahavidyas, we feed ants, Pipilaka sadhana. Okay, we'll talk more about these things as they will come in future, right? So you need to realize that your janma has started from all of it. And Mother, who has given you birth, no matter which janma you were in, she has been our mother. How? Brahma Kita Janani. From the gods whom she has given birth to the not so good looking caterpillar, to the ugliest of the creation, ugly to the eye, okay, but not to the manas. As long as people are dwelling in the physical realm, they say, oh, that person is beautiful, this person is ugly looking. But to a true spiritual person, you will never see them judging anyone. Okay, and that is a mark of spiritual transformation. Now that Brahma Kita Janani, who is the mother of a cockroach, a rat, a snake, a tiger, a leopard, therefore you and I as well. Okay, we are talking about her breast that continues to nourish the whole cosmos in the form of sun and moon. Okay. Amute vakshojo amritarasa manikya kutuko nasandeho spanda nagapati patake manasina pibanto tau yasmad davalita vadu sangarasiko kumara vadyapi dviravadana kauncha dharanao. I'll chant the 3 shlokas, actually 4 shlokas, and then come. Vahatyamba stambera madanaja kumbha prakritivi samarabdha mukta manivi ramalam haralatikam Kucha bogo bimbadar ruchibi ranta sabratam pratapa vyamashramam purtamaitu kirtmevate tavastanyam manye dharanidhara kanyera paya paravara pariyati saraswatameva dayavatadathyam dravida shraswadatavayat kavinam pradhanam majane kavaniya kavayata. There's a beautiful story here that I have to explain as well, right? 1 second. Are you able to still follow and listen to me? I was getting a call, so I was not sure whether you were able to follow.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay. There's a beautiful story here. Dravida Shishu. This is Jnana Sambandhar. There are 64 great devotees of Shiva called Nayanars. Okay. And these Nayanars, basically, their stories are listed in Periya Puranam. And you can read the stories of 64 Nayanars. Of them, the youngest one was Jnana Sambandhar. In Arunachalam temple, when Jnana Sambandhar's father took him as a 2-year-old boy, and father went to take a dip in the pond. Those of you who went to Arunachalam, you will know what pond I'm talking about. If not, make an attempt, take time, take your family to Arunachalam to visit that very Punya Bhumi of Arunachalam, where Shiva appeared for the first time as Apatalana Brahsalanta Bona Brahmanda Mavis Prajyotis Patikalingam Oliversa. So Shiva appeared as a lightning there, and that became the Arunachala Parvata. So when father went, he made the boy sit by the steps. And he said, my dear Sambandhar, his name was, father gave him the name of Sambandhar. Sit here. And when father went to the pond, he took the dip. Generally, when you take a dip 3 times. When father got up, this boy was crying, saying, oh, father, I'm worried that you will drown. He said, don't worry, for you, me, and everyone, there is a murti of Shiva Parivaram there on the temple's Gopura. So he showed saying, they are the mother and father. If you're really scared, if I don't come back anytime, not today, you have to call them and they will come. This is what the father said. And father dipped the second time, got up. Third time he dipped, but he was taking long time to get up. Immediately, this 2-year-old boy cried out to that mother and father Shiva and Parvati with true devotion and faith. Faith is the most important thing in bhakti. He called out and said, my father is drowning, he is not coming. He said, you are the mother and father for everybody. Please help me. And immediately, a young couple showed up. Shiva and Parvati came up as young couple. And Shiva, this boy was crying incessantly. Everybody was looking at the boy. Shiva said, oh Sree Mata, oh mother of mothers, what are you looking at? Please feed him. The boy is crying with hunger. And mother looked at Father Shiva, smiled and said, you know what will happen if I breastfeed him? He said, even if I get to know what happens when she breastfeeds the baby, the baby will get to understand Shiva. What does breastfeeding here mean? When she feeds us, what happened to Mukha Shankara in Kanchipuram? When she gave him the tambulam that she was eating, the person who could not speak from birth spoke 500 shlokas, from which we keep chanting Vimalapati, Kamalaputi, Pustaka Rudraksha Sastaputi, Kamakshi, Pakshmalakshi, Kalita Vipanchi, Vivasi Varinchi. Every shloka will have Kamakshi, Kamakshi, Kamakshi Namo. Mukha Panchasati. Okay, the person who could not speak gave 500 shlokas about mother. Okay, when she breastfed him, that boy. Okay, and by the time she breastfed and kept him in the next 2 minutes, the father finished his Sandhya Vandanam and came back. When he came back, he saw the Sambandhar had little milk sign on his lips. Father said, what did you consume, my dear little one? He was worried on what he ate. He thought that was a foam coming in, and he thought maybe he ate something that is reacting in the body. And he was holding this boy and running into the temple of Apita Kuchamba. Okay, why she's called Apita Kuchamba? Apita Kuchamba because of Jnana Sambandha, because she breastfed him. Okay, the mother with unconditional love, whenever whoever goes and prays to her, she will feed them directly. She has done that to Ravana Maharshi. She has done that to Kavya Kanta Ganapati Mahamuni. She has done that to Sheshadri Swami in Arunachalam. Right? Those of you who went to Sri Kalahasti, you will see Jnana Prasunamba. That is the reason, no matter which form of mother, in the 6th slokam of Soundarya Lahari we discussed, Vadat Kanchi Dama Karikalaba Kumbhastananata. Oh mother, your breast is as big as an elephant's breast. Why? Would a great Jagat Guru talk about a woman's maternal organ just like that? That talks about you have to feed this cosmos. If you have to feed this cosmos, how big your breast should be in order. You have to feed a caterpillar, you have to feed a dog, you have to feed a cow, you have to feed a tiger, you have to feed a tortoise, you have to feed the whales. So you should be a Virat Rupam, like the Vishwarupam of Krishna. And that is the parallel that Jagat Guru was talking about. People who don't understand these things make useless comments that will push them back hundreds of janmas because they don't know the actual meaning of this. So these 3 shlokas are talking about mother's breast. And the next one, very, very important, okay, is Harakrodha. Okay, so before I go to the 76th one, which basically talks about the mother's navel, let me explain. On one of the shlokas, basically the second one, Vahatyamba, I discussed 3 shlokas that talk about mother's chest and the breast. The second one is a funny one. It talks about mother is breastfeeding Kartikeya, the one with 6 heads, on with her right breast, and Ganesha is both of the kids are sleeping on her lap, and she is holding them. Both of them are drinking milk from the right and left breast of mother. And Kartikeya has 6 faces. The moment his one mouth is full, the other mouth is drinking. Okay, so he's been drinking milk incessantly. And Ganesha, who has the tummy of an elephant, is drinking, but when he was drinking, he was touching his head because he was drinking milk. And all the kids that were playing with Ganesha, they would always have a comical ridicule saying, hey, why don't you have a face of a human like all of us have? Okay, and Ganesha being a kid, both of them are kids, so they'll become happy and sad very fast. So Ganesha would always think, why do I have an elephant face? Though he knows the story, he'll go back every time, he's lying in the lap of mother, he'll think, why is that I have the face of Ganesha? Okay. Have you seen, I actually bought an elephant here just to show. Are you able to see this elephant's face? Yes? See the forehead, right, where I'm touching. I hope you're able to see, right? Now, this forehead is what Ganesha is used to seeing because of his elephant face. Okay. Now, when he was drinking milk, lying on the left side, left lap of mother, okay, he was looking at mother's hairline, okay, and thinking, oh, my forehead and my mother's forehead look the same. Then why does everybody say I have a different face than my mother? And he was very happy, saying he has similarity with his mother. Kameshwara Mukhaloka Kalpita Sree Ganeshwara. In Lata Sahasranam, we get a nama when mother looked at Shiva's face. Born out of the union of their eyes coming together was Ganesha. And when Ganesha was drinking milk, okay, Ganesha generally, is always looking at his forehead, just like, if you're meditating, you look up. So he looked at his forehead, which is in the same shape as his mother's hairline and forehead where they meet. He was very happy. Therefore, in that happiness, he was rubbing his chest saying, "Oh, I'm so contented that, I look like my mother. Everybody says I have a different face. Fools, they don't know that, my face and my forehead looks exactly like my mother." And he became extremely happy, rubbing his chest. Okay, that is the second slokam. Now let's attempt to discuss the 76th slokam, which talks about the story that we discussed earlier, where Manmada was burned down. Hara krodha jwala valibiravalli nena vapisha gabirete nabi sarasi krita sango manasijaha samattastau tasma dachadanaye dhumalatika janastam janite tava janani roma vali ritihi. What does this mean? When Manmada was burnt by Shiva, his body caught fire. When Manmada's body caught fire, Rati Devi was praying to Sarvamangala Devi. Immediately, mother looked at the burning Manmada's body. Manmada is a great devotee of mother. In fact, the Panchadasi mantram, the 15-letter mantram that we will unveil as part of the Ananda Kriya, is given to us following the Manmada's Kadi Vidya, it is called, because it starts with Ka. We keep doing Kamala, 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 Kamala. The first Bijaksham is Ka. Okay, therefore it's called Kadi Vidya. Ka plus Adi, like Vasinyadi, starts with Ka, and there are 14 other aksharas that will come. Kadi Vidya. Similarly, there is Hadi Vidya, that Lopamudra Devi and Agastya actually followed. That's not accessible to us. Ananda Vidya, though Agastya and Lopamudra Devi have done, they have revealed what Manmada has followed for Kamakshi Devi. And when his body was being burned, Kamakshi Devi looked at his body. Immediately, as a mother would do, she kept the burning Manmada, she picked up with her Kataksha Vikshana, very merciful eyes. She need not pick up with her hand, and put the Manmada in her navel pit to denote that you are also my son. Okay? Immediately as she put the Manmada in her navel, the fire calmed down. This is the visualization of Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya. But his body was burning. Whenever there is fire, there is smoke. The fire, before it got completely extinguished from Manmada's body, the smoke that moved up, what did it become? It became the hairline, the gentle hairline from mother's navel to her chest. Okay? And that is what Jagadguru is saying here. Mother, I see the gentle hairline from your navel all the way to your chest. And that hairline is nothing but Gabirete nabi sarasi kritasango manasija samattasto tasma tatradante dhuma latika. Dhuma means smoke. Latika means lata, the creeper that goes up. Okay. That is the beautiful screenplay and visualization of Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya. By saying this, what happens to us when we are burnt down by desire after desire after desire after desire? Bought this car, buy that house. Bought this house, buy a bigger house. Bought a bigger house, buy something else. Go on this vacation. There is no limit for our desires. When we are being burned down by desires, and we are thinking that we are the ones who are gifted, you will see this in many, many people's lives who start behaving as if they own everything, and their downfall starts. You have seen this in the life of many of the people who ran away from India. Okay, billionaires. They were billionaires but lost everything. No credibility. Thieves now. Okay, fugitives at large, required by law of India. If they come back to India, then they'll be arrested. So they are taking shelter in some other country. Okay. Now, all these people, a clear example of dakshas in the modern age. Okay. Now, when a Manmada was burned down, Manmada, what did he do? We are all burned down by desires. That's when we realize there is no limit for these desires. So let me turn to the divine. That is the desire I have, the desire for the divine. When we turn to the desire of the divine, she will take care of us as a mother. She'll keep us in her navel. What does it mean? She'll keep us inside her to protect us. Okay, and therefore, whatever bhavarogas are bothering us, she'll remove them in order to transform us as a great sadhaka, great devotee. There's no difference between her and Shiva. She's Shiva. Shiva is Shiva. Okay, why Shiva? Ardhangini of Shiva, half body of Shiva is Shiva, the left part of Shiva. Okay, and then she will reveal the secret like she has given the secret to Jnana Sambandha. When father held Jnana Sambandha looking at the form and was running into the Arunachala temple, the moment father entered the Arunachala temple, the 2-year-old boy Jnana Sambandha started chanting, started singing songs about Paramashiva and Parashakti. A 2-year-old boy, which are now very popularly called as Tevarams. Whatever the Nayanars have composed. Okay, Jnana Sambandhar is the youngest one. If I remember, the oldest one is Manikya Vachikar. Okay, and this is a brief attempt. We only could cover the 4 slokas and the essence, but this is a brief attempt at these slokas. We will cover the 77, 78, which will also talk about mother's navel. Okay, in the next class. Stay blessed, spread the bliss around. Mangalam Guru Sree Chandramaulishwarage Shakti Ganapati Sharadambige Shankaracharyanige Kala Bhairavage Kali Durgige Veera Dheera Sura Hanuma Maruti Charanage Mangalam Guru Sree Shri Maathre namaha and stay blessed.